I am 91 years old, and I need to warn you about something before it is too late. Everyone around you is lying to you about friendship. Your culture is lying. Your social media is lying. Even the people sitting next to you at dinner are lying. They are telling you that if you reach 50, 5, 60 years old, and your circle has gotten small, that something is wrong with you, that you are broken, that you failed some invisible test of likability. I am here to tell you from the final chapter of a very long life that this is one of the most dangerous lies you will ever believe. And if you let it take root in your chest, it will poison every remaining year you have left on this earth. I had 40 friends when I was 30. I had maybe 20 when I was 45. By 60, I could count them on one hand, and right now at 91, I have one friend. His name is Harold, and he lives in a care facility 11 miles from here. In some weeks, he does not even remember my name. People hear that, and they feel sorry for me. They tilt their heads. They say, "Oh, that must be so lonely." And I look at them with these tired old eyes, and I say something that shocks them every single time. I say, I have never been more at peace in my entire life. And then I tell them why. I tell them the one thing that no one in their generation has the courage to say out loud. You can click away right now. You can scroll to the next video. But if you do, I promise you, you will spend the next 20 years chasing people who were never yours to keep. And when you finally stop running, you will be old and tired and full of a regret so heavy it sits on your ribs like wet concrete. So stay. Stay and listen to an old man who has already made every mistake you are about to make. Let me take you back to the autumn of 1968. I was 34 years old. Strong hands. Full head of dark hair. I was working at a steel fabrication plant outside of Pittsburgh. And I had a circle of men I would have died for. I would have stepped in front of a train for any of them. There was Bill Hartley, big man, loud laugh, the kind of laugh that filled a room the way sunlight fills a window. Bill and I started at the plant the same year, 1962, and for 6 years we were inseparable. Lunch together every day, poker on Friday nights in his garage, the smell of cheap cigars and motor oil so thick you could taste it. His wife, Dorothy, used to bring out a plate of sandwiches at 10 o'clock, and she would shake her head and say, "You boys will still be here when the sun comes up, won't you?" And Bill would wink at me and say, "Dot, when they bury me, make sure Jimmy's in the box next to mine." That is what he called me. Jimmy. My name is James, but Bill never once called me that. Then in November of 68, I got promoted. Floor supervisor. Better pay. Better hours. And something changed. Not in me. In Bill. The lunches stopped. The Friday poker nights got shorter. He started making jokes about my new position, little jabs wrapped in laughter, so you could not call them what they really were. Oh, Jimmy's too important for us now. Better not say that around Jimmy he might write you up. I told myself it was harmless. I told myself Bill was just adjusting. But one February morning, I walked into the break room and heard him talking to 3 other men. He did not see me standing in the doorway, and what he said about me, I will not repeat it, not because it still hurts. It stopped hurting decades ago, but because the words themselves do not matter. What mattered was the laughter. All 3 men laughed. Men I had considered friends. Men who had sat at my kitchen table and eaten my wife Margaret's pot roast and told her it was the best they had ever tasted. It took me almost 15 years to realize what happened that morning. Bill did not betray me. Bill revealed himself. There is a difference, and it is a difference most people never learn. Betrayal is when someone changes. Revelation is when the mask finally slips, and in life, if you are paying attention, is just one long series of masks slipping. That was the first time I understood that friendship is not what we are told it is. It is not about numbers. It is not about how many people show up to your birthday party or how many names are in your phone. It is about who is still standing next to you when the room empties and the music stops. Now let me tell you how this applies to your life. Because you are living this right now, whether you see it or not. When your family tells you to get out more and meet new people, they mean well. But what they are actually saying is, your solitude makes us uncomfortable. They are not worried about your happiness. They are worried about what your aloneness says about them. When your coworkers invite you to gatherings you do not enjoy, and you feel guilty for saying no, that guilt is not yours. That guilt was put in you by a world that treats being alone like a disease and treats crowded rooms like the cure. When you see someone your age posting photographs online surrounded by smiling faces, and you feel that sting in your chest, that quiet voice that whispers, "Why not me?" I want you to understand something. You are not seeing their life. You are seeing their performance. And performance, my friend, is the most exhausting form of loneliness there is. They will clip your wings and call it keeping you company. They will drain your energy and call it friendship. They will fill your calendar and empty your soul. And the whole time you will smile and say, "At least I am not alone." But you are alone. You are more alone in a room full of people who do not truly see you than you have ever been sitting quietly by yourself with a cup of coffee and the sound of rain on a window. Let me paint a picture for you. When you are 75, lying in bed at 2 in the morning, staring at the ceiling because sleep does not come easy anymore. You will not think about the parties. You will not think about the group vacations or the busy weekends. You will think about the one conversation that changed your life. The one person who looked at you and said, "I see you." You will crave depth, not volume. And if you have spent your entire life chasing volume, you will have nothing to hold onto in the dark. This is the great illusion, the illusion of popularity, the illusion that more is better, and you are falling for it right now. The breaking point came when I was 63 years old. Margaret, my wife of 38 years, was diagnosed with pancreatic cancer in the spring of 1997. The doctor gave her 4 months. She lived for 7. And during those 7 months, I learned more about friendship than I had in the previous 6 decades combined. I called people I had known for 30 years, people who had said, "If you ever need anything, Jimmy, you call me." I called them. And you know what happened? Some of them sent cards. Nice cards with flowers on the front and printed sympathy inside. Some of them said, "We should get together soon," and never followed up. One man, a man I had considered one of my closest friends for 20 years, a man named Frank DeLuca, told me on the phone, "Jim, I'm not good with this kind of thing." And I never heard from him again. Not once. Not when Margaret died. Not at the funeral. Not ever. But Harold came. Harold Blakely, a man I had only known for 8 years. A man I had met at a hardware store when we argued over the last box of wood screws. This man drove 45 minutes every single Wednesday to sit with Margaret. He did not bring flowers. He did not bring speeches. He brought a deck of cards and a thermos of soup, and he sat there and played rummy with her until her hands were too weak to hold the cards. And when she could not play anymore, he held her hand and told her stories about his childhood in Vermont. The morning Margaret died, it was Harold sitting in the hallway outside her room. Not family. Not the 30-year friends. Harold, his eyes red, his hands shaking, a styrofoam cup of cold coffee sitting on the floor between his boots. I stood at the window of that hospital room, looking out at a parking lot in the gray October rain, and I understood something with such clarity that it nearly brought me to my knees. The size of your circle means nothing. The depth of it means everything. Was I angry at Frank? Was I angry at the others? I sat with that question for a long time, and the answer surprised me. I was not angry because they abandoned me. I was angry because I had spent decades investing in something that was never real. The betrayal was not theirs. The blindness was mine. If you want to navigate this life without drowning in false companionship and hollow connection, There are brutal truths you must carve into your heart. The first truth: you are not losing friends, you are losing audiences. There is a vast difference between someone who loves you and someone who enjoys you. An audience claps when you perform well and leaves when the show is over. A friend sits with you backstage when you have forgotten your lines and the curtain is falling. Most of the people you call friends are just an audience, and audiences always leave. The second truth: loneliness and solitude are not the same animal. Loneliness is a prison cell you are thrown into against your will. Solitude is a fortress you build with your own hands. Marcus Aurelius, the great Roman emperor and Stoic philosopher, wrote nearly 2,000 years ago, "The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts." He ruled an empire, commanded armies, and his deepest wisdom was found in the hours he spent alone, writing to himself by candlelight. If the most powerful man in the ancient world needed solitude to survive, what makes you think you are above it? The third truth: after 50, every friendship that remains should cost you nothing to maintain. I do not mean money. I mean energy. I mean peace. If you feel exhausted after spending time with someone, that is not friendship. That is labor. And you are too old and too close to the grave to work for free. The fourth truth: do they understand your unique mind? Do they understand the specific pain you carry, the private grief, the quiet fears that visit you at 3 in the morning? Or do they just understand the version of you that is convenient for them? Because most people do not love you. They love their idea of you. And the moment you deviate from that idea, the moment you show a crack in the performance, they will look at you like a stranger. The fifth truth: you must learn to be your own harbor. Ships do not survive storms because of how many other ships are nearby. Ships survive because of how strong their anchor is. Your anchor is not another person. Your anchor is your own mind, your own values, your own unshakable knowledge of who you are when every single person in your life walks away. Seneca once wrote that we suffer more in imagination than in reality. And the suffering you feel about having fewer friends after 50, that suffering is imaginary. It is invented by a culture that profits from your insecurity. The solution is not to find more people. The solution is to build a citadel inside yourself so strong, so fortified with self-knowledge and quiet dignity that you need no one's presence to feel whole. Every time you say no to a gathering that drains you, you are laying a brick in that citadel. Every time you choose a quiet evening with a book over a loud night, pretending to enjoy yourself, you are laying a brick. Every time you walk away from someone who makes you feel small, unseen, or exhausted, you are laying a brick. And one day, You will stand inside that citadel and you will look around and you will realize it is not empty. It is full of everything that actually matters. But I must warn you, the storms will come. Illness, loss, grief so sharp it takes your breath away. And when those storms come, your large circle will scatter like leaves in November wind. Your acquaintances will be busy. Your social friends will send a text message with a sad face and move on with their day. You must have your own citadel to retreat to. You must have your own mind, your own strength, your own practiced ability to sit with pain and not crumble. You must trust your own soul above all else, because in the end, it is the only companion that will never leave you. Look at me. Not at the words on a screen, but really look at me. Look at these hands. They tremble when I pour my morning coffee. They cannot grip a jar anymore. These eyes, they are clouded and slow, and they have seen 91 years of sunrises, each one more borrowed than the last. I am at the end of the road. The curtain is almost down. And when I tell you that having no friends after 50 is not a death sentence, I am not telling you to push people away. I am not telling you to become cold or hard or shut the door on every human being who reaches out. It is the exact opposite. When you stop chasing quantity, when you stop performing for an audience, when you stop measuring your worth by how crowded your living room is on a Friday night, you can finally love the one or two people who actually matter. You can love them with your full chest. You can love them without exhaustion. You can love them the way Harold loved Margaret, with a thermos of soup and a deck of cards and absolutely no need for anything in return. I love Bill Hartley. I forgave him a long time ago. He was just a scared man who saw my success and felt the ground shift beneath his own feet. He was not cruel. He was terrified, and terrified people do ugly things. I forgave Frank DeLuca, too. He was not heartless. He was just weak. And weakness is not a sin. It is a wound. But I never again confused proximity with loyalty. I never again mistook a friendly face for a faithful heart. Harold is 89 now. Some days he knows me. Some days he does not. Last Tuesday I sat beside his bed, and he looked at me and said, "Are you the fellow with the wood screws?" And I laughed so hard my chest hurt, because even through the fog, even through the fading of a brilliant mind, some thread of connection remained. That is real friendship, not 100 names in a phone. One thread, one unbreakable, stubborn, beautiful thread. You have one life, my friend. One brief, fragile, astonishing life. Do not spend it filling rooms. Spend it filling souls. Do not count your friends. Count the ones who count on you. Do not fear the empty chair beside you. Fear the day you realize every chair was full and not a single person in it truly knew your name. If these words resonated with the quiet part of your soul, the part you do not show anyone, the part that has been aching for permission to stop pretending, then I would be grateful if you stayed. Subscribe to this place, not because I care about numbers. I am 91 years old. My time is measured in seasons now, not years. But because in this noisy, crowded, screaming world, you need a quiet place to be reminded of what is real. A place where an old man with trembling hands and tired eyes can tell you the truths that no one else will. Take care of your mind, young one. Guard your peace. And remember, the table does not need to be full for the meal to be nourishing. Time is shorter than you think.